Everyone, Michelle here from Scrappy Soul Sister. Thank you for joining me today on my channel. Now today I'm going to be working on another layout using the August limited edition My Creative Scrapbook kit. And so that kit is full of Nature's Haven, which has been a very fun line to work with. Just the feeling of abundance for summer is perfect. And so I am going to use this picture or maybe a few pictures of my daughter and I at Disneyland with Groot. And I am like proceeding with not very much confidence because I know it might feel like kind of a stretch, but if you've seen the movie, then you know like Groot can sprout like little flowers and leaves and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just going to go for it. So I thought I would use this wreath, so I might have to size up this picture or pick a different picture. And I'm going to really lean into that circle feel. And so I am going to punch some circles or cut some circles out of some of the other papers. Now, I really love this paper. Not 100% sure I am going to use it, or I might use part of it. We'll see. And then for titles, I might not do a title. I might just do some words from the rub-on sheet by my circles. So because I think the only title I have left from the kit is this one that says lovely, which doesn't really convey my message very well. Though I could look and see if I have some smaller word bits. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing yet with that, but that is kind of the direction I am going to be going in. So let's see what we can come up with. So I do decide to go ahead with just tearing the paper off of the sides that have the main designs on them, and I'm going to back it with white so that I can do a little bit of mixed media. I did love, the background that came with that pattern paper, and so I did, when I cut out my circles, I cut my circles out of a variety of papers. I did use some of that area that I tore out as well. And so I'm looking through my rub-ons, and there are a lot of great words that you can use for titles as for accents. And so I'm going to use three of them. This one that says fabulous. I'm going to use joy and believe, which I just realized all sounds somewhat holiday-ish other than this fabulous, but that's okay because Groot brings joy and yeah, we believe as well. So um, now I currently have three photos. I do go down to two, and I am going to go ahead and add just a few little rub-ons to some of these circles. I really like this butterfly with the word script behind it. And then I'm also going to add some bees, though that might be throughout the process. You might see that happening. I'm also going to add a bee um, to the background. So right now I'm figuring out, how I want my circles to work. And then off camera, I'm going to adhere them together and so that I can move them as a solid one element. Uh, so I don't have to remember how I want the circles. And so yeah. So far so going, and the picture that is going to go away is the smallest one that is up there, and it's totally fine. I could have kept it, but it felt, I don't know, it felt like once I get everything else on here, it might be a little bit busy. And I did want to have, an element of clusters up there to the top right. So it felt like it was getting to be a lot. So I'm going to rub that joy on. And then when I do my rub-ons, I do take the backing um, sheet and rub my rub-ons. And that might be old school. That's something we used to do when rub-ons were popular back in the day. But it does help seal down any edges that might not have completely adhered down. And so that's why I do that. And so I use my large ball tip applicator, and I got that idea from watching some Katie Petite shorts and started doing it, and it does work really well. Now, this tool is part of a Sizzix flower shaping tool, so it has two styluses with different shapes of balls, and then a foam mat for shaping paper flowers. And so, um, yeah, so I think at this point, yeah, I have all of my elements adhered together. I'm just going to draw around them a little bit, just so I know how far out I should go with my mixed media. And I am just going to stick to dry stuff on this video. And so I am using peeled paint, iced spruce, and old paper. And I'm starting with my applicator towards the center where I know that there is going to be some of the circles so that I don't have to really worry too much about hard lines or having too much ink where I don't want it. And so I'm going to apply this, going to um, uh, fleck it with some water to give it a few water drops. And then I am going to roll it off with my paper towels, because I'm too impatient to wait for it to dry naturally. And then I am going to apply some ice spruce through this stencil in a few different areas. And then I am also going to do a couple of different stamps. And so once I get all this wrapped up, which I think I'm almost there, probably could have edited that part out of my video. But I am going to use a grid um, stamp from Tim Holtz. It is here, there it is on camera. It is part of a set, and that set, let me see if I can find the name for it. Mixed Media CMS 125. And so there's 4 stamps that come with it, a couple of dots, and then a honeycomb. And then I'm also going to apply some mini hearts in a pink. I think I use, what do I use? I think I use saltwater taffy on that. So yeah, I've also splattered with iced spruce and with white. And I think all of that is done at this point. So I'm going to continue with uh, um, doing some embellishments. Now, these little white flowers come in the kit, but they come in one really stacked flower that I just removed the crown and then peeled off the flower layers. So I have lots of individual flowers. I did hit them with some white paint, um, just to, because they're pretty sparkly, just to take down the sparkle just a little bit, as I don't have any other sparkly elements on this page. And I am going to use that red flower below. I think that's the only red flower I'm going to use. And I'm taking a look to see what other elements I can add. And here I decide to use the foxes. So I don't know if you're Guardian of the Galaxy fans, but Rocket, who is a raccoon, a talking raccoon, gets called all sorts of animal names. And so since I didn't have any raccoons, I thought I would throw these foxes on there just as a little homage to Groot's friend Rocket. I add the balloons because why not? And then I also have added a film reel up to the top right. I'm glad I remembered to do that because that was one of the reasons why I decided to do circles on this layout and then I almost didn't use it. So I'm going to add that butterfly to the top right to balance out the butterfly that is at the bottom left. And what else do I have to do? I think, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is as I want it before I start uh, gluing things down. Now, that phrase is the best day ever because this was a very fun day. Julia and I uh, were at California Adventure. It was like the end of June, and we got there right as it opened and tried to get in line for Radiator Springs. And it was just a horde of people. And we thought, well, we'll do this some other time. We'll go do some characters and got to get our picture taken with Groot very quickly. So that was really nice. And then I have been adhering those elements as discussed. And I think, yeah, I have just a few more things to do um, down towards the bottom. You see, once I get that film reel in there, I'm going to use that circular piece. Not really sure what that shape is called. It kind of looks like a belt buckle. And so I thought about one more white flower up at the top and I decided against it. So now everything there is glued down. I'm going to take a look at adhering things in the bottom portion of my layout. So I'm using collage medium to hold down that flower. I'm going to add a word phrase. Guess that hasn't quite come up yet. I'm going to go ahead and glue down my white flower and then adhere everything as a group. And I can just use my tape runner since I didn't use any gesso or any texture paste or anything like that on this layout. Now with my tape, my ATG gun, I get my tape from Tape Jungle. So if any of you are looking for tape for your ATGs, you can buy it in bulk, and so then you can kind of split it with a friend, or you can buy some that'll last you a good long time, but the prices are really good. So finding a home for all my little friends, my little bees, my little ladybugs, etc. And I had put glossy accents on a lot of these smaller pieces previously when I first received my kit. And I think it is getting close to being done. I'm going to add one more word phrase down to the bottom left that says, love this place. I'm going to find a home for that little round bee. And I might have already, I think I considered the splatters done since I did it before the elements. So just a few little details, the mason jars there, and then some Nouveau yellow to fill in those flowers, and then I will be done with this layout. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really love how this layout turned out, and If you like the content, please hit subscribe or give me a thumbs up. I truly appreciate all of your support. Check out My Creative Scrapbook, and they have a variety of kits available. The link will be in the description. And other than that, have a really great day, and I will see you on my next layout. Thanks, everyone.